And we are moving on to the next and third, the third and last session as part of this segment on media freedom. And we'll turn to a country which was widely known as Europe's last dictatorship, which is Belarus, where journalists have been swept up in the repression that has followed the disputed elections, presidential elections, of August 9th. The following session, which is organized in partnership with the Prague Civil Society Center, looks at the use of Telegram to circumvent censorship in Belarus. Our speaker is Daria Minsky, who is a media manager and founder of some of Belarus' leading independent news outlets, including Mint Media. And I understand that Mint Media had to move its editorial team into exile following the arrest of many of their members. Daria, first of all, maybe before we go into the Telegram issue, how do you operate from abroad, and how can you safely deliver, basically gather and deliver news to your audiences inside the country?
Well, yeah, good question. Thank you for this kind introduction. Hello, everyone. Very pleased to be here. Yeah, you already introduced my sort of a personal situation that we had to move abroad after my partner's arrests. And, you know, in this context of mass repressions after the stolen elections, it is like definitely a disadvantage to be like a legal entity with bank accounts, with the journalists who use their real names, to be on the ground, because, well, you're going to be arrested and put in jail eventually. And journalism is basically one of the most dangerous professions in Belarus. So the only way to operate and to continue to deliver news is to do it from abroad. That's what we did. We had to, like, through the night, you know, like to move our teams to the neighboring countries. And right now they basically scattered around Europe. I'm in Madrid. Part of the team is in Warsaw. Part of the team is in Vilnius, in Kiev. But with COVID, it's easy to work online. So that's how we are operating. So yeah, definitely our media, our company was a very easy target for authoritarian regime, just like as any other media company right now. And basically we were left without any legal vehicle, any income. Our bank accounts were blocked, but luckily international support was amazing, and empathy towards our struggle. So we managed to move everyone quickly. Right now they're waiting for the residence within the European Union. And we didn't stop, our team is very proud of it. We didn't stop for a day to deliver news, and our journalists were very committed to, you know, do their job 24/7, basically, regardless all the stress of, you know, moving in the van through the night.
Wow, that's amazing. Sorry, before we continue this, I just wanted to remind our audience as to post your questions in the Q&A box. We have about half an hour to go on this session, and we'll certainly get to some of your questions. So maybe coming to the specific topic of this session, the use of Telegram. We have read a lot about the fact that Telegram was used to organize protesters, but I understand that that was also used to share journalistic content. Is that correct? And would you like to talk about it a little bit? And it's something that you have also actually done.
Yeah, we also managing several Telegram channels, and I must say this is a Telegram revolution, just like Arab Spring was a Twitter revolution. This is Telegram revolution. You know, there was a like explosive popularity of Telegram channels in this summer, and the whole concept of Telegram is decentralization. So those channels, they're more like content aggregators rather than content creators. even if you could put those public founders in jail, well, other moderators would be remaining like free, and they will be able to keep posting all this news. Like I said, they around all Europe, and you can't really catch them, and because very few people know their real names, unlike, you know, like our official media. And they collect this information from users, from readers, stringers, and all those people, they co-create the content by sending those news and like video materials and photo materials through Telegram bots, and it makes it extremely easy to collect content through those channels. And yeah, you can't block it. You can't make it stop by putting anyone in jail. It will continue to deliver news no matter what. And the only measure that could be taken is a complete shutdown of the internet. The government actually did a couple of times through the protests on Sundays, but even for such a dictator like Lukashenko, it's shutting down the whole internet for the whole country is too much. You know, it's like paralyzing society, everything. If we think why is it Telegram specifically? You know, why it's not Twitter? Why not Facebook or TikTok? I don't know, any other social media platform. In my opinion, there are several factors to that. First of all, it's the actual resistance to blocking attempts, and a Telegram team is actively improving all those features. And as we know, there were previous attempts to block Russian Telegram, Russian segments of the Telegram by Russian authorities, and they were unsuccessful. That was really funny how they were trying to do it. Second factor is actually the possibility to stay anonymous on Telegram, because if you take Facebook, you have to prove your real identity. If you take WhatsApp or any other messenger, well, you have to provide your phone number. In Telegram, you can be you can use your nickname. You can hide your phone numbers. So basically, those are great advantages of Telegram within our circumstances. And also there's like a very minimalistic RSS-like feed that is very easy to read, follow, manage. So it's very user-friendly. And the third factor, last but not least, it's the whole personality of Pavel Durov, who is actually a genuine supporter of Belarusian protests. And he's a rebel himself. So what they did, it was like a very cute small detail that they actually changed the Belarusian official flag, this like Lukashenko flag, to the one of the protesting movement. And that was incredibly inspiring to us. Yeah.
Nice one. And we spoke before, we were talking about Turkey, and we spoke about the fact that in Turkey, actually, the government came even to the point of criminalizing people just for having these type of encrypted apps on their mobile phones. So Yaman was saying, you know, if I started using Signal now, they probably would get suspicious and they would prosecute me just because of that. Is this something that is feared also in Belarus, besides of the people who live outside like yourself? But I'm sure that many people inside the country also use Telegram. Is this a concern that you may be brought into prison just because you have Telegram on your phone?
Oh, for sure. And like probably not by having Telegram itself because it's so widespread, but by having certain conversations. And the arrests of Telegram channels administrators is something that we have to deal like every day, every week. You know, they get information from some other Telegram channel. Those people like in the chat discussing something. So next thing they go to this person and get them. And I think it's extremely dangerous for those people to to remain in the country because they're risking it all, to be honest. And just like last week, one of those prominent administrators got arrested, and many of them, like they're in jail for months within months. Like I don't know, like I wouldn't be there because what's the point to be a journalist in prison, you know? Like it's actually like first people who should go abroad and continue to deliver news from abroad, because there's no use if you cannot do your job.
I agree, and yet you need sources from inside the country. I'm sure you have your stringers, you have the people informing you.
Exactly.
So they're, you know, they are equally, I suppose, potentially equally at risk. So I think that that's unfortunately something that we also need to consider. How can we support those who, not only those who like you are doing a lot of work, but at least from a degree level, enjoy a level of safety which is slightly better, but also those who remain inside the country and risk every day. I don't know, is there something that can be done to support them?
Well, it's the matter of like personal responsibility, of course, because Telegram has tools to remain anonymous. For example, there's this function of like disappearing chats. So if you send something, you can just like set the timer for the message to disappear. If you like careful enough, well, good for you. Yeah, so you have to be careful on a personal level, first of all. But again, if you're very actively involved in content creation, I wouldn't recommend to be there, because and every day they can just go to your house and that's it.
Yeah, and do you do like online training sessions for the people you work with from within the country, or do you offer them any, you know, tell them how to keep themselves safe?
Well, this information is spread by Telegram channels and by our media, so it's something that we do constantly. Regarding like specific master classes, we at Mint Media, like our media, don't do that, but like it's been done by headquarters of the president-elect Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, and this is something we do as well. And they're paying fees imposed by the government if people protest, and there's a great wave of solidarity among people in general in society. Over $3 million dollars were collected to pay those fees and help repressed people. So this is a great example of solidarity in general, not only for Belarus, for Europe, but the whole world. And this is unprecedented, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, it's a terrifying but also very exciting time. I see a question here from Philip. It says, do you see the revolution and the street movement as slowing down because of fatigue / winter, or are more things happening online? Basically, what we see on the streets is what it is there, or is their movement continuing online?
I think there's a certain fatigue of the specific type of protest, because we were just discussing there's a learning curve for everyone, and for the right police, Lukashenko's right police as well. So they actually learned how to split the crowd into small pieces, and it's very easy to catch everyone just by one. And in these circumstances, people like they're afraid for their health, for their safety, because of course it's way easier to go out on the street when there is a big crowd and all of your neighbors are going out. But if you understand that you're going to be immediately split and they won't be able to form like a unified manifestation, it's way riskier for you, for your friends. So right now, the movement is trying to reinvent the protest and like to find new formats. There is a lot of creativity from the IT community, and I know for a fact that there are a lot of apps that are creating like right now, and they're about to be released. And this is extremely exciting. It's like we live in cyberpunk
Wow.
times. I'm super excited to see what these apps are. So no, there is no fatigue. And actually, I was listening to a professor of sociology, and the recent research says that people are ready to go out for no matter how long until they reach their goal. So people are very tuned to be like a lone protesters. And there is the sentiment that today's if we lose today, it doesn't matter that it doesn't mean that we're gonna lose tomorrow. So no, the protest is not fading away. It's just looking for a new forms. It's evolving naturally.
So you feel that people are in for the long run.
Yeah.
There is another question that is more, if you want, about politics. What do you think of Lukashenko's statement that he will step down once the new constitution, a new constitution, is adopted?
I mean,
I think that's your answer, laughing.
Those are lies. You know, we were joking, like how to understand, like when Lukashenko lies. Well, he opens his mouth and like his lips are moving, so that's how he lies. So no, you don't believe that. Of course, this kind of person will fight to death for sure. No
thanks. And I see another question there, but maybe before I go into that, I wanted to pick up on what you mentioned of this, you know, this energy that you feel, people coming out with new strategies, new apps, new. What is the average age of your target audience? Are we communicating only with the young population who has access to all this? Or is this movement also taking place on a number of apps and platforms and so on, penetrating also into older age groups?
Yeah, good question, because Telegram channels, they were definitely like a young underground thing before the protests, but like this summer all the channels experienced exponential growth. So before summer, I would say yes, it's a young audience. Right now it's the whole society who actually can hold a smartphone and check some news, because it was totally the main channel of content distribution. And just to give you one example, the most popular channel, Nechta, in July, it was like 3 million views, post views. And in August, it was 1.5 billion post views. So it's a crazy growth. So right now, Telegram is like a blue ocean of traffic for those media. And even like 3-4 months after these events, Nechta still at least twice as bigger than the main news website to buy. Wow. It still has way more audience than the main portal. Just imagine that. So and even regardless all of that, we think that the audience of Telegram channels is still not more than 20% of the whole population. And how to break through this 20%, it's another question, and we think that it should be like through advertising, because we all those people already covered their natural audience, and how to reach like this audience who's not willing to be reached, that's another question. But yeah, I would say the core is like from 25 to 40, like the readers and also the students, but yeah, so probably not very very old people, but in my family, for example, like it's 3 generations, they all get a news from Telegram. Yeah.
And yeah, sorry. No, and yeah, I suppose that also other human rights organizations, so on, they're all getting onto this to Telegram in order to communicate. They're all adopting this new communication tool, or do you, or not?
Yeah, it's amazing how again the IT community is supporting. It's all volunteering, and they help to create all kind of bots and like digital solidarity platforms. I know there are plans to create some sort of imitation of a digital society with their own currency, completely independent of like the government. So basically, people are creating a parallel government, not even in exile, just like existing in parallel, just not to contribute to this dictatorial system and not to pay taxes, but still have their own economy. This is absolutely fascinating, and there's a big chance that if the transition of power actually happening, Belarusians will be able to build an amazingly advanced society and digitalized society.
Absolutely. So maybe looking at you've spoken a lot about people doing this voluntarily and out of their own time and passion and all of that, which is fantastic. But unfortunately, how long can this last? So my question to you is, specifically for when we look at journalism, which type of support and assistance does journalism need? And I see a question here from Jeremy, actually. Is there an assistance for the media that you think is still missing?
I must say that we had an amazing support from everywhere, and we like in terms of like emergency support, we got like everything that we need, and I'm very surprised by such attention to and again like understanding what is going on. But of course, emergency support is not a long-term support. Unfortunately, right now we cannot rely on our usual source of income, which is advertising. First of all, because it's all about protesting content. We don't publish any, news about shampoo or restaurants. This is ridiculous in these circumstances. And second of all, there are less and less companies who are able to pay for advertising because the economy right now is collapsing. Of course, those Telegram channels can accept advertising from a Russian casino or something, or like some betting Bitcoin stuff. But that's not a good strategy. I think our media care about reputation, and like we also filter who to advertise. And of course, international support and institutions are the main source to support the media in this situation, and I believe they're doing a great job. Like I've been contacted by many like asking like what can we do for you, and this is amazing. This sort of support like inspire us to continue our fight.
That's fantastic. And are you considering, before the sessions before, we were talking about readers revenue, basically asking the readers, asking those who, not advertisers, but those who consume and need this type of and want this type of independent information to pay for it. Is this something you're considering?
Yeah, actually, in the whole this protesting movement, like one of the main incomes for this initiatives, the most of the financing came from people who were gathering resources, like $5 or 3,000, or like some people were donating 20,000, like from abroad. And still, it was one of the main sources, not only to support media. There were additional foundations that support media, like gathered from all those people, but the repressed ones, medics or the students who were just like eliminated from the universities, and they had to go study abroad. So people support every aspect of this protesting movement, including media, and this is absolutely amazing to me.
Yeah. There is one more question that is along the topic that we discussed before, how dangerous it is to use Telegram in Belarus. So specifically, what happens if the police knows that a person is using it? is it criminalized, or people just detained, thrown in prison for a few days and then have you seen that?
Well, yes. As I said, it's not Telegram application itself, but recently Nechta, this most popular Telegram channel, was called a terroristic channel. So just imagine the consequences if you subscribe to this Nechta. So after they called Nechta like basically a terrorist, the channel experienced like a sharp decline in subscribers, because people were afraid that the police would discover that they're subscribed to this channel, and of course, I mean, put them in jail again, like for 15 days or whatever, and torture. Yeah. So this is sensitive problem for protesting movement, because right now the goal is not only to maintain the existing amount of subscribers who are genuinely afraid, but also to break through the ceiling of 20% that we were talking about. So this is like two problems, like to maintain and then to grow. But I know that every day new channels are being created. So if Nechta is proclaimed terroristic, other channels will take over, and other moderators will take over.
Right, right. And so if you think, you know, I don't know, long term is difficult with a revolution ongoing, but are you focusing primarily on communicating and sharing journalistic content on Telegram, or are you also trying to build on different platforms so that in this effort to reach different audiences, you know, maybe some will come to you through online websites, or maybe there are other, you know, maybe somebody's using WhatsApp or other social media?
Yeah, I think it's about the combination. Telegram just happened to be like ideal protesting media, but well, there are minuses of such a format, and those Telegram channels, they are created mainly by bloggers, and many of them are not professional journalists. And there are a lot of like IT people from advertising, and most of them are really young, below 30 actually, and Nechta is 22. So just imagine, like the biggest Protestant channel is moderated by a 22-year-old guy. So there are many students with no journalistic experience actually. And there are problems because of that, you know, like they're poorly fact-checked, misinforming materials. For example, there was a notorious case when the detained people falsely accused one former police officer of torture. And this woman, she received a lot of death threats, and she had to go public and explain and prove that it wasn't her, and that she has nothing to do with this woman who actually tortured people in the detention center. But anyway, there are lessons learned, and like there are less and less this kind of mistakes. They're actually fact checkers working on the information. They filter it better. They understand that they're being bombarded by fake news, so they take it more seriously, and they take care of those reputational risks. So it's getting better and better, but still, Telegram content is very quick content, like boom, 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 like UGC, right? And there's still a need in like more traditional media, of course, like a big pieces of reflection on what is going on. And traditional journalism is there, but it's a balance, I'd say.
Okay, so basically you also do what we would call traditional journalism, as I say, like not even long read, but more in-depth articles, and these are shared through different platforms, or do you also try to share those through Telegrams, maybe breaking them up or things like that?
Yeah, so basically we have our traditional media, and we write articles, we do those big interviews and so on and so forth, but we also have Telegram channels they have their own content, their own editor who posts the news perfectly normal for Telegram channels, but also give links to our materials. It's like it's a little bit different. So we adjust content to the media platform. That's what is needed right now.
Wow, it's impressive, and it's actually really exciting to hear about it, and I think it offers a lot of potential. You mentioned, all these citizen editors that are improvise themselves, and from working in development, we think, okay, so we have a number of people who need to be trained, a number of people who need to learn the tools and all of that. There's so much potential there, which is absolutely fantastic, and yeah.
I must say that they processing hundreds of these posts from stringers, and no traditional media is able to process this kind of information at such pace. That's why Telegram experienced such growth. So that's it. Like, it's UGC.
And I'm sure that a lot of the content they process is also very disturbing. So I trust that they're probably living in this, probably many of them living within the country, but also living in this, there is the psychological burden, but also must also be immense. Is this something that you discuss with your colleagues?
Yes, it's actually a very big problem because only several people were working on this Telegram channels at the very beginning. And when all those things happened, and a lot of them, including the founders of those Telegram channels, were put in jail, there were only few moderators left, and they were working like night and day, and they had to very, very quickly to find people, preferably abroad, to keep posting the news. And it was really hard because you have to educate them, you have to tell them what to do, and within very, very constrained time frame. That was a big problem, to hire right people, to be sure of these people. So this is something that they were complaining a lot.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Daria, I think that we are coming close to the end. Is there just one recommendation? You have a community of journalists, of people who care about independent media out there. What is your call now? What would you like to ask the international community?
Yeah, thank you for this question, this opportunity. I actually want to say that the interest towards Belarusian events is fading away after the election itself. So there were a lot of attention in August, but then, well, it's kind of, oh, okay, this is ongoing revolution, but it's absolutely crucial for us to keep this international pressure on the regime. Because we cannot afford to normalize it again, and international attention is the key. So please cover Belarusian events in media, and that would be the biggest contribution.
Thank you so much for that, and I think this is wonderful, the wonderful end of this conversation, and hopefully a beginning of a longer one on the future of Belarus. And thank you so much for all what you are doing. Congratulations, really. Thanks, Daria, Minsky. And I also would like to, thanks. And I also would like to thank all our speakers for this segment: Andrzej Koldesh, Roman Imielski, Andrea Carlson, and Yaman Akdenis for their insights that you have brought to us. Thanks to the European Endowment for Democracy and the Prague Civil Society Center for their support. And a big thank and congratulations to the organizers of the Prague Media Point. It's a wonderful conference, and you've done a fantastic job. Thank you. Bye-bye.